Since the dawn of time, an extraordinary race has watched over and protected humanity. These beings, known as the Nobles, were both revered and mysterious. Among them, one individual stood out for betraying, exposing, and even eliminating his fellow nobles. He was known as the Noblesse, the embodiment of the desire to shield the weak throughout history. Only one person capable of taking being the Noblesse, Rizel. Regarded as the most powerful being in the world, Rizel appeared equal to the noble lord, but, in truth, surpassed him. Yet, with immense power and responsibility came crushing loneliness. Rizel's duty prevented forming genuine connections with others. The noble lord constantly tried to engage Rizel's heart, inviting him and persuading him to become the next lord. However, Rizel declined, desiring only to gaze out his window until duty called him into action once more. One fateful night, Rizel's world was turned upside down. An unexpected visitor appeared in his home. Wearing Rizel's clothes, the stranger claimed to be his new servant. Confused, Rizel knew he had never employed any servants. Just then, Jujuro, a fellow noble, entered the room and exposed the intruder as a wanted criminal. Rizel sensed the man's injury, chose to use his powers to transform the fugitive into a servant, ordering Jujuro to leave him be. This man was Frankenstein, an ordinary human who sought to challenge the nobles' supremacy, prove their vulnerability. He had killed several nobles and experimented elf, becoming the first enhanced human with power rivaling that of the noble race. Over the next 5 years, Frankenstein served at Rizel's side. During which time Rizel never once ventured outside. Resentment towards Rizel grew among the nobles, who disapproved of his relationship with the human. The noble lord, however, found Frankenstein fascinating and proposed a blood ritual to grant him longer life and ease Rizel's loneliness. Manipulated by their jealousy, Frankenstein unleashed his full power, losing control in the process. Sensing the immense energy, Rizel and the noble lord arrived simultaneously to intervene. The nobles demanded justice from the Noblesse, urging him to punish the inferior life form. Rizel stepped forward, but instead of striking Frankenstein down, he used his power to restore his servant's sanity. Upon waking, Frankenstein made a life-changing decision. He would form a blood pact with Rizel and devote his life to ending the Noblesse's loneliness. Years flew by, and one day, Rizel received a visit from his only friend, Mazaka, the Lord of the Werewolves, the only being whose strength matched Rizel's. The werewolves, like the nobles, were protectors of humanity. Mazaka, however, had vanished to explore the world and satisfy his wanderlust. Leading him deep into the forest, Mazaka introduced Rizel to Ashleen, a young human girl. Mazaka had discovered her during his travels and shared that humanity was continuously at war with itself. Ashleen had lost her mother, and one such conflict, feeling pity for the girl, Mazaka took her under his wing. Back at home, Rizel stood by the window when an unsettling sensation washed over him. Racing outside, he found Mazaka cradling a lifeless Ashleen in his arms. Mazaka explained that humans had attacked her, and in that moment, he renounced his duty to protect humanity. Instead, he vowed to destroy them. Rizel tried to reason with his grief-stricken friend, but Mazaka's emotions spiraled out of control, turning him aggressive and enraged. He flung Rizel to the ground, blaming humans for taking not only Ashleen's mother but now Ashleen herself. Consumed by his thirst for vengeance, Mazaka wanted to make humanity pay for the suffering they had caused. Rizel struggled to comprehend the whirlwind of emotions within Mazaka. Unable to make sense of it all using his power, he restrained his friend. Expressing his own sadness over Ashleen's death, he reminded Mazaka that they couldn't interfere in the affairs of humans, even when they hurt one another. Mazaka countered that Rizel didn't know the true depths of sorrow. He revealed that Ashleen was not just a random human he had come across, she was his daughter. Mazaka had given up everything to be with her, but in the end, he couldn't protect her from a tragic fate, robbing her of the chance to find happiness. Rizel's heart ached as he finally grasped the pain his friend was experiencing. Overcome by fury, Mazaka raged at the humans who had taken everything from him, both Ashleen and her mother. He vowed to eradicate humanity, refusing to let them inflict more suffering. Transforming into his fearsome werewolf form, Mazaka mustered every ounce of strength to break free from Rizel's restraint. He lunged at his best friend, attacking with ferocity. Rizel deflected the blows effortlessly, but as Mazaka's rage surged, he managed to land several powerful strikes. Rizel, moved by his friend's anguish, shed tears of blood. Torn between his empathy for Mazaka and his duty as the Noblesse, Rizel faced a heart-wrenching decision: how to help his friend while still upholding his responsibility to protect humanity. In that moment, Rizel made the difficult decision to unleash his full power against Mazaka, shattering and dismembering his friend's body. Unyielding, Muzaka regenerated and retaliated with his most potent attack. The two titanic forces collided, creating a massive sphere of energy that threatened to detonate. Sadly, the clash resulted in Muzaka's tragic end. Weary and injured, Rizal attempted to return to his men but found himself unable to do so. His body, ravaged by the impact of the last attack, refused to cooperate with the energy ball about to explode. Rizal had no choice but drastic measures. Summoning the last of his power, Rizal crafted a protective casket. As he entered the casket, he drifted into a deep slumber, eventually sinking to the bottom of the ocean. 880 years later, a ship stumbled upon Rizal's casket, hidden in the depths of the ocean. Despite their best efforts, the crew couldn't open it. However, as moonlight washed over the casket, it suddenly opened, revealing Rizal, fully awake after his centuries-long slumber. Curious and eager to explore this unfamiliar world, Rizal ventured forth and soon found himself near a bustling high school. As he approached the building, he sensed a powerful, familiar presence within. Inside, he discovered his loyal servant, Frankenstein, who had taken on the role of the school principal. Reunited, Rizal learned about the dramages that had taken place in the world during his absence. Intrigued and inspired, he made a decision to join the school as a student, immersing himself in a normal life while learning about the modern world. Embracing his new life, Rizal began each day enjoying Frankenstein food and spending some recently happy time with his new colleagues. But Rizal's tranquil life took an unexpected arrival of two new students, Regis and Syra. As it turned out, intriguing newcomers were nobles who had come to investigate the swirlers about the Noblesse's casket. Resurfacing upon encountering Rizal, they instantly recognized his unmistakable aura, struck by the presence of the Noblesse himself. Regis and Syra felt both awe and trepidation. They couldn't help but pay their respects to Rizal, acknowledging his legendary status and the immense power he possessed. Regis and Syra were aware that the Lord hated Rizal, but they didn't understand why she was so determined to learn his whereabouts. Choosing to seize the opportunity for a normal life, they decided to deceive the Lord in their report, claiming they were sting for clues about Rizal's casket. Suspicious, the Lord dispatched her most trusted Jijuro to investigate. He appeared at the school, compelling Syra and Regis to emerge. Frankenstein intervened, escorted inside to meet Rizal. During their conversation, Jijuro revealed the many changes that had occurred since Rizal's slumber. He shared that the previous lord had died suddenly 500 years prior, leaving his daughter Raskria to assume the role. However, her ascent to power sparked revolts and betrayals among the noble clans. Raskria believed that Rizal had murdered her father and incited the betrayals, fueling her hatred for him since she was young. Because she heard her father asking Rizal to become the next Lord, Jijuro implored Rizal to accompany his innocence, but Rizal, now happy with his new life, declined the invitation. Seeing the transformation in Rizal, Jijuro chose to leave without taking Syra or Regis, deciding to lie and keep Rizal's true identity hidden from the Lord. A phase later, a change swept through the school as students began to behave strangely. Sensing something, Regis investigated, discovering that Rael, a noble, had used mind control. One in the school, Rael grabbed Regis by the throat, mentioning humans as unworthy of Syra's company. This twisted 500-year-old noble, still possessing the mentality of a child, harbored an unhealthy obsession with Syra. However, she quickly rejected him and demanded him to leave. Later that night, Rizal sent Frankenstein to deal with Rael and prevent him from discovering the Noblesse's identity. But Syra intervened to stop them from wreaking havoc on the city. Rael took out a document revealing the Lord had officially summoned Syra. He also disclosed that Jijuro had been arrested and faced execution for lying to the Lord. Upon learning of Jijuro's imprisonment and Syra's summons, Rizal made the difficult decision to return to his homeland, determined to resolve the situation and protect his friends. Rizal, Frankenstein, and Regis embarked on their journey back to their country. Upon arriving in their homeland, Rizal led his companions to his mansion. Once inside, Rizal sensed an odd energy permeating his home. Intrigued, he followed the source of the power to his vault room. Unlocking the chamber, Rizal discovered something unexpected. The previous lord's soul weapon, Ragnarok, had been hidden within his vault. Rizal realized that the former lord must have stashed it there while he was in hibernation, concealing it from others with no other options. With no other options, Rizal decided to take the powerful sword with him and proceed to meet the current lord, prepared to challenges that lay ahead. Several nobles attempted to hinder us, but Regis and Frankenstein dealt with them, clearing the path for Rizal to advance. Jijuro had been brought to the lord, where his execution was to occur. Facing eternal sleep, Jujutsu criticized the current lord for her decision to capture Rizel, the one whom the previous lord had wished to succeed him. Jujutsu went on to say that her own inadequacy had led to the betrayal of the other clan leaders, and she was unfit to be their lord. His words ignited her fury, and she summoned her soul weapon to execute Jujutsu herself. Just as she was about to carry out the sentence, Rizel burst into the room, halting her in her tracks. Rizel informed the queen that he didn't want her executing anyone as he approached her. Noble clan leaders blocked his path and charged at him despite their efforts. Their attacks had no effect on Rizel. The second and third leaders tried their luck, but they, too, were easily repelled or had their barriers shattered. The nobles decided to attack together, but Rizel used his power to force them to their knees with mind control. Jujutsu took the opportunity to explain the hierarchy system for nobles, detailing the differences in roles and power between the lord and the noblesse. The lord stepped in, attempting to use her blood control power against Rizel. However, he effortlessly stopped her. She tried slashing him with her sword, but he caught it with his fingers and deflected her attack. Fueled by the motivation to destroy the one she believed had ruined her life, she launched a series of attacks, but Rizel remained unfazed. He bluntly questioned her weakness and lack of full power, which drove her to unleash her most potent blood-field attack. Rizel destroyed it without even moving. Witnessing this, the lord trembled in fear and confusion, wondering how their power gap could be so vast. As she broke down, she remembered her father asking Rizel to become the lord instead of her. The other clan leaders stood in front of her to offer support, and confronted Rizel once more. Rizel explained that until she learned to control her true power, she would never be able to harm him. As the nobles foolishly attacked and were swiftly defeated, the lord grappled with Rizel's words, deciding to end the confrontation. Rizel unleashed his powerful blood field against the clan leaders. In response, the lord stepped forward, motivated by the sight of her people fighting for her, and cast her own blood field, managing to inflict a small cut on Rizel's face. Exhausted, the lord collapsed, and Rizel approached her. Extending his arm and channeling his power, the defeated lord braced herself for punishment. From the noblesse instead, Rizel presented her with Ragnarok, the previous lord's soul weapon. The weapons merged, and an image of the previous lord appeared before them, explaining Rizel's innocence and revealing his last wish. In the aftermath, every noble is sparred, and Rizel returns to his normal life, along with Syra and Regis. Like and subscribe the channel if you like it. Watch this next video, and subscribe the channel for next one.